Welcome back to another episode of the Align Agent Spotlight, when we meet one of our awesome rockstar agents here at Align and find out really what their superpower is and let you look inside their lives and look inside their business and really get a little bit more direction of how you could build a business, just like the awesome Tara Plaza here from Monmouth Ocean County. She covers those areas like no one else. How you doing, Tara?
I'm great, Jeff. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone.
So excited, man. It's gonna be a good time. We know each other like from afar. I feel like we've met a few times over the years.
Yeah.
We watch each other's businesses grow, and it's really nice to now sit down and be able to like learn more about how you got here, where you came from. I know you as, and I think you're known a lot in your market and our organization as like the agent who has a really diverse client base. Like you're able to connect, it seems like, with everybody and like find out who they are, find out what's important to them, and really be able to like advocate for them like no one else. Like people from mommy's group to like the CEO of like a Fortune 500 company and everyone in between. So we're really excited today to hear more about that and like how do you approach business to find those people and then connect and really get them from there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I think, my business has changed so much just over the past 2 years, right? Of having kids, because that's kind of transformed everything. But really, like I used to focus a lot of energy on getting like, clients that I felt like kind of matched my personality and energy. And then I
mhm.
started to realize it's more about matching them, like finding people where I can. Because there's so much business out there, there's so much opportunity, and I was like, "I'm missing so
Yeah.
much." So I started to just kind of adapt myself, my way of thinking. I was never one, to have much patience. I started to really work on that, because doing that and, like, kind of twisting my mindset a little bit, changing my mindset, working on that, working on patience, and then having kids, like, that changes everything with patience,
Right.
like, oh my
Oh
god.
yeah.
So, I've definitely started to shift my business that way by kind of being like a chameleon where I can read people's energy really
Yep.
well, start to understand where the conversation's going to go on different listing appointments and meetings, and understand like, how they're going to feel most comfortable talking to me. And then from there, building that rapport and yeah, taking on like, a client who's super, super tech savvy or really into numbers to a client who really does not care about that whatsoever, doesn't even really care about necessarily what they're going to get for their home, but more about connection and like
Yes.
having the relationship
Yep.
aspect of a deal and having that whole process go really smooth as far as connecting to their
Yeah.
agent and feeling supported. So there's different personalities.
And I think like you found a different type of niche, right? Where like a lot of people find a niche and it's a specific type of client. You can also find a niche where it's a specific geographic area or type of mover, someone moving from a city, someone moving to a city, or upsize or downsizer. But then if you want to pick the niche of kind of circumstance, you have to be able to be a chameleon and really adapt to the personality. And
Yeah.
some agents will really just like, I only work with people who I mesh with. If I don't work with them all there, I'm passing them off.
Oh yeah.
you I think you limit yourself there, especially if you can serve them in the expertise you have of the type of transaction they want to do.
Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely people that just hey, hey, nice to meet you. Like,
Right.
but it's kind of a we can kind of both feel that, right? Like sometimes it's just not a match,
Right.
and that's fine. But what have learned is opening myself up to like really understanding that I can work with diverse people. I can be again like be with I'm not a numbers person. I'm just not. And uh I'm not you have a
Yeah.
financial background, like we're just opposite. So I just started to realize like getting that rapport and really just like right off the bat, like kind of understanding like the type of person they are has made me realize, built me, like given me a ton more confidence in going out to get listings that I never initially would have went out
Yeah.
to get.
That's awesome.
So, and then getting those listings, and in my area too, like the Monmouth Ocean County area, it's super, super competitive. And I know it is in most areas of New Jersey, but I'm telling you, like
Yeah.
it's tough. And
And you
I
guys
know I'm up against a ton of other
and
agents.
you have lower turnover too. Like in Hoboken, stuff turns over every 6 years.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
well, if you buy a house in the burbs, you probably own it for 15, right?
Yes.
Plus something like that. But
Mhm.
before we go much further on your business, what's your story? How'd you get into real estate? I don't even personally know. Like, what did you do before? I know you've been with Brett and the Line team for a long time now.
Yeah.
Give us a little backstory.
I was a teacher.
Oh,
Well, Yeah, so I've had I've been all over the place, but I was a teacher. So I was at Rutgers, graduated from Rutgers with a communication degree, started to work at Sony Music Entertainment in the city. I was working in Manhattan, and then the commute and the city were not really for
Didn't
me.
wear you
I'm
out.
not a city person. I am a country person. I love like just being around like animals and stuff like that. It was just so changed directions. I'm like, "Oh, what can I do?" I was really confused, went into teaching, and because I loved to help people. That was always something I really enjoyed doing, and I liked to build the connections. Now, I feel like that's why a lot of people go into teaching, but teaching has changed, and,
Hmm.
I don't know if it will ever be the same, unfortunately. But that being said, I started to realize that I wanted a career that gave me like, that I defined success. I defined what success is. Like, is it, making 60 grand? Is it making 100 grand? Is it making $100 billion? Like, what is success to me? And what that means, like, with teaching, it was too structured, too rigid.
You had an
I mean,
entrepreneurial
literally
bug in you,
I
seems like,
did, and,
right?
like, I remember seeing Brett, because Brett and I have known each other for so long. He, grew up with my husband. Saw him at a couple of weddings, and he's just like, "What are you doing? Like, your personality is not like, you need to get out there and, like, I feel like you'd be so perfect with real estate. Like, come over, like, let's chat." And I always was like, "Ah, oh, that's scary to me. Like, that's so scary." And, it's leaving, like, a career that is pretty solid and
Security,
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
security and all that, and kind of just, entrepreneurship is such a crazy journey, like, really, like, emotional,
Oh yeah.
mental, just everything.
Yeah.
And I always kind of was, like, scared because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm that, disciplined, like, to do that because you have to be so disciplined, you really do, or else you're just gonna sink." So that was hard, but I did, during my preps, I was I shouldn't really say this, but I was teaching middle school, and during my preps, I would teach myself graphic design. So I started to build websites and do all the SEO and I built my own graphic design business. And so I just straight up left teaching, started my own business, started building websites for people and brands for
Oh,
people.
cool.
And from there, I was like, okay, this is cool. And I started to like market myself on Instagram. I never had an Instagram until I
Mm.
built my graphic design business. Everyone's
But
like,
now you
how
do
do you
so
not
well
have
on
Instagram?
Instagram. You
Yeah.
get so much business from there now. Well,
I know I do. And so it's just crazy. It's like full circle. But I left teaching, got into built my own entrepreneurial graphic design business, and then from there I finally took the leap after having another conversation, seeing Brett at another wedding, maybe having too many cocktails. And I was like, all right.
and made a bad decision to get into real estate.
That's
Nah.
where it all started. No, I just then from there I was like, wow, I can kind of mesh these two jobs. It wasn't
Yeah.
like I just wanted to give up the graphic design business. I then created a brand for myself with real estate. And actually at the time I was working with my mom, crazy,
In the
but
graphic
whole nother
design
thing.
world.
No, with
Oh,
real
oh,
estate.
with
So
real
we
estate.
both
Oh,
got
okay.
into it
Oh,
together,
cool.
took the exam together, all that.
Together. Usually
Started,
someone's in, and then like the
yeah,
other
nope,
they drag the other family member in.
cold feet. We
Wow.
just like dove in together, and it was nice because like again, it kind of like took the nerves away a little bit and got my feet wet. And then finally, I dived right in with Brett's team, and that was
That's awesome, and
history.
never left, and been here ever since, right?
Yeah,
That's awesome. Oh, how
yeah,
cool. So first of all, I heard like teachers make the best real estate agents, I think, if
yeah.
they're willing to make the jump. We were just talking, Sam was a
I agree.
teacher, because there's a few things like you have the ability to connect,
Mm,
right? You have the patience to connect with people
patience,
too.
yeah,
And you have to be able to communicate. Communicating to a bunch of middle school, like God, I love kids. I love my kids. I love other people's kids. I love kids. I can never be a teacher. I
yeah,
don't have the patience. I don't have that slow down and like really, and that's what really is needed in real estate. I think what makes a
yeah.
really good salesperson is when you can, like we were talking about in the intro, where you are able to figure out what's important to that person and then be able to connect at that level, which is
Yes.
kind of like what you got to do with every individual kid in the classroom. Like, how do they learn? Where's their brain at in development, right?
You're dead on with that. Yeah, like with teaching, I was also special education. So it was like a lot of the IEPs and
My mom
determining.
did that for 30 years.
Yeah,
All the craziness that, I mean, it's
absolutely. It's
such
it's
a,
it's hard. I
yeah, it's
mean,
a
just
hard day.
again, like with one child, you're creating like such structured. Everything's different with each child. So it's like trying to understand where their superpower is,
Yeah.
right? And like how to hone in on how the best way for them to learn. And so the same thing in this business, like that's how I talk to sellers, potential sellers and potential clients. Like I try to understand like, okay, how am I going to really understand like maybe why they're selling or what they want to talk about. I'm here to technically interview for this to sell your house, but sometimes it's not like that at all.
Right.
Sometimes it's like just trying to see what they want to talk to me about. Maybe they're lonely and they want to sit there and talk to me for an hour and a half and they're like, "Huh, no
Yeah.
one else really cared to do that for me."
Yep.
Like it's just the simplest things that you
Building
need to
relationship
yeah.
too. And I think there's something really important there about meeting clients where they're at. Where like, so I don't take many listings anymore. My wife Red takes all the listings now in the business, but like we don't have a really dialed in listing presentation because our business has been one very similarly where we're looking to build relationships where we can provide value,
Mhm.
where we have an amazing process. Like if we need to go through everything we do to sell your home, like I could do it, and we do it from time to time. It's just it's not a canned process. A lot of times it's going there. Where are you? What do you need to do? Where are you going? What's
Yes.
happening? When do you need to get? What's important about getting to the next place?
Yes.
Is it like you were mentioning on the onset? Like, is it the timing? Is it every last dollar? Is it like you don't want to know anything what happens? Sell my
Mhm.
house and let me know when it
Mhm.
closes, right? Like I
Mhm.
can't handle another piece of stress in my life. And when you start there, like it sounds like this is very part of your strategy right out of the gate, the solutions become way more easy to find, right, for people.
Yes. Oh my gosh, hands down. And I can't even tell you how many appointments I've went in there, whether it was a for sale by owner or someone who tells me on the phone, I am not going to list with you. I'm doing this on my own. You could come and sit and talk to me and evaluate my home. I don't care. Or like they're going in to the conversation thinking I'm just coming to give them a number
Yeah.
and they're going to use me and say goodbye. How I've turned that around.
Yeah.
And again, whether it's just understanding what they really desire or talking to them a certain way. Like this one just happened recently a couple weeks ago, and he's like dead set on. He kept warning me like, "Hey, I don't want to waste your time, but I'm really not going with an agent." Then we start to like right off the bat. I walk in, like we shake hands, and I could tell who what kind of personality I was dealing with, and we just start to kind of like bullshit and like I could tell by how he was speaking to me that he wanted like a no bullshit kind of and
Mm.
so I went that way. He cursed, I cursed. I
Yeah. You
was
got to
like,
mirror and match,
yeah.
right?
So he's
Absolutely.
like, and then he's like, he was like a stone cold too. And then he's like, I like you.
That's awesome.
I think we're gonna do this. And we shook
Look
hands
at
and
that.
and I was like, no way. Like in my head, I'm like, no way did that just happen. Like, but it was just again, it's just knowing that personality, knowing how to go in and talk to them, and right away, I didn't go in thinking I was gonna get that. I really didn't. I was, like, thinking, "Maybe I'll make" somehow on these meetings, you always make connections in other ways too, right?
Right.
Maybe he has a whatever, he doesn't
Yep.
wanna use me, he doesn't wanna use me. But it was also a challenge for me, and that was fun, and he was certainly, hard, but it worked, and
That's
it was
awesome.
cool, so
That's a great transition right into because I want to talk a little bit about your process, right? Like, how do you have this really great skill of being able to really relate and connect with tons of different personality types, but you have to get there at
yeah.
some point, right? And I think something you just said was very telling where you went on an appointment, someone said, not, don't want to waste your time. Don't even come. I'm not using an agent. So many agents look for any excuse not to go on an appointment,
Mhm.
right? And they look for any way to talk themselves out of having to do the thing that's uncomfortable or go into the setting that, is a little abrasive or whatever the case may be. What do you do every day to get yourself into those conversations, to get yourself in like the majority of those appointments? What's your daily process look like to drum up your business really and run your business?
Hmm. I feel like that changes for me every day now because of the kids and stuff. It definitely used to be more structured, but it's not all bad when you're not as structured. Probably not great for me to say. It is wonderful to run your business in a very disciplined way, but I can't always. Like as a mom, you just can't.
Yep.
Things change all the time. I almost couldn't come here because my son had a fever. Like
Oh,
there's always something that kind of and I could have easily made an excuse and not came. I mean, but what my point is there's always something that can change your plan,
yep.
and you can't let that happen, right? So like mine's very simple, or it's turned to be very simple. And I should say like so my business now is more about waking up, making sure I have like at least an hour before I jump to the computer or check emails. So it's like clearing my head and like realizing I also am big about positive affirmation. So like I'll be like, I'm gonna have a great effing day today, and I'm gonna kill this, and I'm gonna like crush it. And even though my son's been screaming all night, I had 2 hours of sleep. Like I'm gonna have that hour to myself,
Love it.
and then I'm gonna make my tea or my coffee or whatever my vice is that day, and then from there, I'll do like 5 to 10 minutes of stretching. These simple things have nothing to do with real estate, but they help my mind.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm able to get on those calls, like 2 hours of prospecting calls. After the kids are dropped off, I'll come back and I'll be ready to go. Instead of wanting to go back into bed and be like, oh my gosh, this day, you already have started your day a certain way and like started your mindset. And that's
Yeah.
the most important thing.
I love that. And I think the thing I heard is that you're in constant forward action. If you don't have to have the perfect structure, you don't have to have the perfect system of daily prospecting, but if you're always either trying to like get yourself started, like and prime yourself, which is what your morning routine sounds like,
Mhm.
or you're taking action proactively, prospecting your 2 hour prospecting blocks, stuff just naturally organically happens if you have a strong bias towards taking action, right?
Absolutely.
Like Red's that same way. My wife doesn't like, I can't get her to use CRMs. I can't get her to do, but she sells so much real estate because she's constantly taking action. She's like, who didn't talk? I gotta find someone to talk to today. I'm like, I don't know how you, she has things in her calendar, like reminders to herself. And I'm
She
like,
reminds me a lot of myself.
ah, but like it
Yeah,
works for her. And I think if
I get
you,
it.
it might be tough if you don't have some type of support behind you, right? Which is why I think you started in this business with Brett and you're still, was it 5 years later?
Yeah,
And
we've been together 5 years
five
now.
years later in the team, then seen the evolution of the team from the Sequoia group to the Align team.
Yeah, I've seen such a transformation. It's
And I
crazy.
think for an agent who's so talented with the relationship side, like you, and like same thing with Red, that is like the perfect yin and yang, like because you keeps you dialed in, it keeps your transactions moving forward, it keeps the things that you need resource wise there and lets you stay in relationship building, right? So
Yeah.
talk to a little bit, I guess, about like you're one of the longest tenured agents in the organization. Like why, how did you get here, why are you still here, and where do you see it going? Like
So, and I know we all get these calls, but I get like calls like I like come talk to us, come talk. I would like never. I'm so committed and dedicated to this team, and it's really because that's how they are to me. So, and yeah, I've been one of the longest agents. I've seen them the growth. I've seen their little Hoboken like when it was like underground and like Spitz was working out of like a closet.
yeah, I was in the,
He trained
we had a
me.
little, our team was off on the other side. We weren't together
Oh,
yet.
okay.
That was
Yes.
80 Park, right?
Yes.
Yeah, our team was like, we had that front left spot. We walked in, then you guys were in the back, and Spitz was in the closet with the
Yes, he
broom
was in the
closet. Yeah.
closet, like, just dialing away, and he trained me, and he's killer,
Yeah.
but, like, from there, that's what I saw. I saw that. Then I saw, like, just, the growth from there. I mean, even with Sakura to Align to oh my god, I mean, we're taking over the world, and but the whole thing is, I would always if I was in a trouble or struggling with something, I can call Brett, and he has so much going on, but his voice never showed it. It
Yeah.
was always like, "Hey," and he always makes time to pick up that call or call me back, and he will. If he
Yeah.
says he's calling me back, he'll call you back in
Yeah.
2 seconds, and I love that, and that's why I'm just so dedicated and the loyalty that has been shown to me. And that pays off over time. Like I've been with other teams, like I've seen how they run,
Yeah.
and they can be mega producing teams or mega producing agents, right? But it's about how you run your team and like how you, I guess, the energy you give off. Like Brett is like, he's just, all the people on our team, we have such a good culture, and
Yeah.
it's because of him and
Yeah.
how he runs things and the people that he runs, the team with. And I just love that. And for me, with how busy I am with the kids and family now and stuff, like having his support and everyone else, all the management on our team, and always being there to pick up the phone, like to answer my queries. Sometimes I'll get so stressed and like Omar and Brett, they must think I'm absolutely nuts because I'll send millions of text messages. They're just like, all right, calm down, give me a call in 2 seconds. Like, and then it's fine. Everything's okay again in
Well,
my
you need
world.
that person because yeah, but here's the thing with that, right? Because I've run a team for a very long time. Now we're doing it together here at Align, right? Our team is part of the Align team. And I have some of my best agents with me 5+ years too. And they call me all riled up because you guys
Yeah.
are just in the relationship part. You're just like going back and forth, and you can't see the forest through the trees sometimes because
Yes.
you get emotional, you get
Yes.
tied to it. And we'll go through a conversation, and halfway through like the third or fourth sentence, someone will say to me, they'll be like, I think I got it.
Yes.
I didn't even say anything yet, but you just need somebody
Just to
to like,
talk it out and they
yeah,
can just listen.
ask one question
100% you're right.
maybe, right? And all of a sudden you're reading, but that like that because it's like kind of like a de facto real estate psychiatrist. You just need someone to like hear you out for a second to
Yes.
be like, oh, cool, I got it. And like,
Yes.
there's a massive value to accessibility to people that you connect with, I think, right?
Oh
And
my
like,
gosh, a
it's
100%. Like
huge.
it's huge. It's changed everything for me because I do get connected emotionally to deals and to clients because that is the most important thing to me. My relationships with the clients. I say that on the appointments too. I'm like, listen, if you don't like me, like we don't need to,
Right.
it's all about how I make you feel, how you feel moving forward. Are you confident working with me? All that. So yeah, sometimes I definitely get too invested.
That's the blessing and the curse though, right? Because that's the value to the client. That's why you've grown your business the way you have. That's why the clients feel so well. I mean, you go to bat for your clients.
Yeah.
There's no like just pushing the transaction through kind of stuff. Like
Mm-mm.
I know you
Yeah.
are very tough negotiator for your clients, and that's because you care. But that also means that you get wrapped up in it and need like some escape valve sometimes from
Yes,
that, and need
for
someone
sure.
to lean on a little bit in that way as well.
Yeah.
So
And the team's just, they're incredible.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about what
I love it.
we've created here.
It really is. It's fun. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a lot of fun getting to know you a little bit better, understanding what really drives you, how you make your business grow the way you do. If you have one takeaway for someone who wants to have a business like yours that wants to be able to really be able to connect across the board with so many different types of clients so they can really grow their client base,
Mm.
what would that one simple thing be that you would recommend?
Okay. So like my thing for me is really, well, not putting in the work, but the mindset part of it is huge because I could you can kind of all of a sudden get, what's the word I'm looking for, where you just can't take on anymore. What's Yeah,
Overloaded,
just
overwhelmed.
yeah, it's so I think mindset plays a huge role, and I think realizing like sometimes you're the boxer and sometimes you're the punching bag, but that's okay as long as you're able to compartmentalize like different deals. Like not everything's going to affect
Mm.
you as bad as you think it's gonna, so keep that mind strong and start that day right. That's
So
like the most
a
important
good
thing for
strong
me.
morning routine is how
Yeah.
you get there, right? Is what
Yeah.
does it for you. I love that. I think even if you could have the most robust morning routine or the simplest one, you just need something to kind of be the catalyst to get you into a proactive mindset rather than waking up just reactionary from jump.
Reactionary, yes,
You know,
100%.
so it's got to be that way. That's awesome. Well, Tara, this was awesome. Tell everyone how to get in touch with you. If you're looking to buy, sell, rent, invest in Ocean, Monmouth County, and
Yeah,
beyond, probably now. I think you cover a
yeah,
large coverage
yeah,
area.
Mercer to Burlington. Reach out to me. You can reach me at Tara Plaza Realtor on my Instagram, and I'm happy to connect. I answer all DMs too.
Awesome. Great. Well, this was a lot of fun. We'll do the next one.
All right, awesome.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.